Hello everyone, my name is Annie Smith and I'm a reference and instruction librarian at the Fulton Library at UVU. I'm also the subject librarian for English and literature, and I'm here to show you just really quickly how to get started with the literature databases and also review some search tricks to help make your searches a bit more efficient. So I'm going to share my screen and show you how to use some of the best databases I know for getting scholarly literature about a wide variety of texts. You'll need to start on the library's homepage at uvu.edu/library, but instead of using one search like we normally do for just general searching about anything, this time you'll want to go to the databases. This is a full list of all the databases that we subscribe to, but you don't need to deal with this big list. Instead, you'll want to narrow by subject to English and literature. These databases right here are the ones that I use most often, and to be honest, I tend to use JSTOR and Project Muse most often. MLA International Bibliography is best when you're looking at very close text readings, structure, poetry, that sort of thing. But with novels, JSTOR and Project Muse tend to be the best choices. To open these, you'll just need to click on the name of the database. If you're off campus, you'll be prompted to log in with your UV ID and UVU password. Once you're inside the databases, what I strongly recommend is that you find the advanced search. JSTOR is a massive journal archive, and if you do a basic search, you'll probably end up drowning in not terribly relevant articles. On the advanced search page, you'll need to format your search in a way the database can understand. So if I was doing research about Washington Irving, I'd want to put those in quotation marks so that it knows that I'm not looking for just any Washington or just any Irving. I want this particular author. To connect more terms to narrow down this search, I'll need to add and term. The ands don't need to be capitalized, and actually nothing really needs to be capitalized, but I do need to make sure that everything is formatted correctly. I can make my searches a little bit more complicated, especially when I have synonyms that I'd want to include. For example, if I was doing research about Octavia Butler, I would want to include searching for gender or feminism, because her books have a lot to say about both. This formatting of the search actually lets me tell the database, find me either gender or feminism. I don't care which one it is, but because I put and Octavia Butler, the article definitely needs to mention Octavia Butler somewhere. Now, one nice thing about JSTOR is that it actually searches the full text of articles, so you can sometimes find really interesting articles that wouldn't have come up anywhere else. For this example, I'm going to run this search, but I'm going to add some filters to narrow down what the database is looking for. Take full advantage of the advanced search. First off, I want to say, find me articles. I don't want book reviews, and these other parts are actually not part of our subscription. Depending on who you're searching, you may also want to limit your search to articles in languages you can read. I don't know why, but John Steinbeck is huge in Japan. And there are a lot of Japanese language articles about him. And the truth, this can also be true of other authors. So if you see a bunch of articles in languages you can't read, come back to this filter. And then the part that I find most useful is this journal filter. This is where you can tell the database, I only want you to search specific subjects. So with searching Octavia Butler, I would want to find stuff in African American studies. I would also want to find stuff in feminist and women's studies. And scrolling down a little bit further, I want language and literature. And so the database is going to skip all these other subjects where possibly Octavia Butler's name pops up. Who knows? She's a science fiction writer, so she might pop up in interesting places. Once I've got this set up, then I'm going to start searching or submit my search and see what the database has brought me. So JSTOR says it found me 87 search results. That's not bad. I would probably want to go back and narrow down my search or get a little bit more specific, but that part comes later. In JSTOR, you'll see little snippets of the articles instead of their summaries. This is because the database is showing you where your words popped up, and you can use these to get an idea of, is this article worth reading? Do I want to look more at it? And if you find a good one, you can click on the download PDF, read the terms. Nobody actually reads the terms and conditions. I don't know why I said that. Just accept it and let it roll. You'll get a full text version of the article with a lovely cover page that tells you everything you need to do for the citation. And if you scroll down, you'll see your article. The next step of searching is something I'm going to talk about in my next video about Google Scholar, but JSTOR is often a first step in finding useful articles to jump off of. So I'm going to backtrack for now and go to another library database that I often use, because JSTOR has a limit on it. It doesn't include the last 3 to 5 years of a bunch of different journals. Instead, they went after the back file. So you can often find really old articles about things, but if you want to find newer things, you'll need to use this other database, Project Muse, because they actually made the opposite deal. They tend to have more of the current materials and less of the back file. So I often start my search in JSTOR and then jump over to Project Muse to see if there's any updates. Now, with Project Muse, I often jump straight to their advanced search by just running kind of a dummy search real quick for my author, because the advanced filters don't actually show up until you run your search. There we go. And search. So off it goes, doing the same thing that JSTOR does, searching through the full text of articles to find things that match, which is why it found so very many. But over here on the left side is where you start to see those advanced features come up. So I can add in my other search terms and tell it to search. I can also, once it runs its search, tell it actually just show me articles instead of reviews. Every time you change something over here, you'll filter your results out, and then this number will get smaller and smaller. You can also tell it what areas you want it to search in. So if you wanted, for example, to focus more on African American and African diaspora studies, you can do that. And our number dropped way down to 16. If you change your mind about any of these, just go back to where you added a filter, uncheck it, and things will go back to the way that they were. When you're ready to look at these articles, because you don't have a snippet, you will need to click on the title of the article or whatever it happens to be, and you'll see an HTML version of your article, and you can get a PDF most of the time just by clicking download here. So this one doesn't have the nice cover sheet. Oh wait, it does. I just had to scroll back a little bit. So cover sheet, everything you need for your citation here, and then you get your article. When I'm searching these databases, both JSTOR and Project Muse, I often do different waves of searching. I tend to start a little bit broad, and then I narrow down based on what I'm seeing, what words I'm seeing in the search, so I can use scholarly language to find the most relevant articles. It does take a couple of passes to get useful information, but if you get stuck, come back to this page here, because my contact information is over on the right. You can email me, you can call me, although email's a lot better. And if you want to brainstorm more about topics and keywords and search strategies, you can schedule an appointment with me, and I'll be happy to meet with you to talk about whatever research issues you're having. And I really don't mind if people ask me questions. You're not bugging me. You're not bothering me. I love talking about literature, and you guys give me a wonderful chance to do that. So good luck, everybody. Happy searching. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to do deep dives into bibliographies, which is often my next step after my initial searching in these databases.